But he said, well, how about if we have a moratorium on subdividing property? So to control the build-out on Nantucket, all of the existing lots will be the last existing lots. No more chopping them up. Families get upset with thoughts like that.
That's a tough one.
Well, you know what, though? Nantucket is not affordable. We are not going to make it affordable with 10% affordable housing. It will still be an expense for people to get here, to vacation here, to own a home here.
But at the same time, we need to attract teachers and police officers, and not that they need to own a piece of Nantucket, but they need a nice place to stay.
They do.
I mean, right?
And maybe it's time. Maybe it's time that Nantucket takes this on.
And
if it's that easy to vote and appropriate funds,
I see.
Then I think we need to do it. And I think we need to say that this type of density is not building with Nantucket in mind.
That's a lot. I mean, think of the traffic. Just the traffic.
This intersection at South Shore Road and Surfside Road is a failed intersection based on the study that was done by 106 Surfside Road when they were trying to put a 52-unit apartment complex, a 4-story apartment building,
I remember that,
on a 2-acre parcel. It was ridiculous. And Nantucket dodged a bullet.
They dodged that.
There was a wealthy individual who has a love for Nantucket that felt it was the wrong thing to do here.
I'm just going to go straight.
And he bought the land from the developer.
Yes.
And the developers of this Surfside crossing, Josh Poser and Jamie Feely, public information. It's in the newspapers.
Oh, yeah.
It's everywhere.
That's the Sconset Beach guys.
Yeah. But Jamie Feely, for the gentleman that bought out the land from the developer on 106 Surfside Road, developed the property for him. He built 2 homes, 2 pools, 2 pool houses. I don't know if they're guest houses. And you know what? That's what belongs in the neighborhood. 2 homes on 2 lots with your secondary and tertiary, capabilities that everyone else has the right to do. So I just think that the math doesn't work. We won't reach 10% that way. If the 40Bs were 100% affordable or 75% affordable, then Nantucket would have a chance. And what happens if you do that, you take the profit out for the developers. A 40B process also caps the profit that they can make. So they know what they're getting into from the beginning. They don't know the final cost to the end users until they finish the project because they don't know what unexpected expenses could come up. Cost overruns, what have you. And the other thing is, we go through this process with the ZBA, making a determination, asking them to maybe, instead of 156, to do 85. The more restrictions we put on them as a 40B, they get to go back to the state and throw away every restriction that we put on them because it's not affordable for them to do anymore, and go back to their original submission. So 156 units. So we also.
So what do you do?
Well, I just think we need to prove that it's not good for our community. It's not good for the health and welfare of the community via the water, the sewer, traffic issues, school. They've actually at the last ZBA meeting.
You're saying do it, but don't do it all in one place there. Spread it out, get the town involved. And
we need affordable housing, and we can do it ourselves, and we have the land. Right now, there's a proposed project next to the police and fire station.
Yeah.
And that land is being given to a developer for, I believe, $1. I could be wrong, a lease. So he's going to build a 40B there. The profits will go to the developer, won't benefit the town, and it's another dense situation where you have traffic issues again.
But what else are you going to do if you've got to put all these units in because we don't have enough of them?
We need to come up with a plan. We need to show how we can build affordable housing.
Right off the bat, to me, Pat, I'd say, build an apartment building.
I don't think Nantucket should be a city. I think Nantucket should be the...
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm playing devil's
the
advocate.
remnants of a whaling community that it is. Actually, the population was greater during the whaling days. I think the population was 40,000. Don't hold me to that number, but I know the population was its greatest at that time period. Where everyone lived, I have no idea. I just don't think it's in the best interest for Nantucket to have this type of housing. It goes against the entire grain of the guidelines set forth, one by the HDC. There's nothing historic about apartment buildings and, townhouses, condos, whatever you want to call them. It's against our zoning. It's just, I'm not opposed to affordable housing. We need it. Let's do it thoughtfully. Let's slow this process down. There's an explosion in Nantucket. In the early 80s, we were already underway with the building boom. By the time I started building, I remember there was talk of a building cap. I think it was 200 homes. I don't remember. And we would hit the building cap every year. Then there was a covenant program. Well, if you were building for yourself or a year-round home, we'll give you the permit. And everything that happened here accelerated building. You scared people. When you tell people you're not going to be able to build on this piece of land you bought 20 years ago waiting for retirement to have your vacation home here, they showed you how they could build a house. They got their permits and they built.
That was 30 years ago.
Well,
so you already said that there's a finite number of places available still,
right.
correct?
Yeah.
So if we're all built out anyway, isn't it going to slow down just naturally? What's the tipping point?
Because
where are we tipping to? What is it tip to?
The tipping point is that our infrastructure, our utilities, can barely handle what we have right now. Barely. That's part of it. The other part of it we didn't even talk about. The cars.
Oh yeah.
I pulled out of the Stop and Shop, the Stop and Shop.
Yeah.
And heading home. The first rotary that I could see was the one by the firehouse. And I could see that all the cars were stopped at that rotary because they were backed up from the rotary on Old South Road. And rotaries upon rotaries are not solutions here, because you'll have on Surfside Road, Old South Road, you'll have just cars lined up waiting to get through the rotary. Rotaries...
Well, they're called roundabouts now.
Well, roundabouts. Roundabouts are to ease the traffic and keep it flowing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always keep it flowing.
No.
It doesn't. There are too many cars. So we're at a tipping point with vehicles. How about if we have a medallion system, which someone suggested to me, for having an automobile? Put a value on it. Gino,
I'm in favor of
you've got a family,
cars.
Your wife, your child. Gets a medallion, and then your child leaves the island.
Yeah.
And you sell the medallion.
Yep.
So someone that wants to have an extra car can have a medallion. I mean, there are ways to do it.
Sure. But are they legal? I mean, what kind of trouble would we find ourselves getting into?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so
I know.
I don't know that.
But I bring it up all the time. But what are you going to do? Where's your place anyway? Oh, close.
Coming up. Okay. So, to learn more about what you can do, go online, find the website, NantucketTippingPoint.com. Within the next week or two, it'll be fully up and running with information.
It's going to be up and running by the time they see this.
Right. And if this is the type of growth and building you want to see on Nantucket at this accelerated pace, then go ahead and tell your select board members.
Hey, you know what? I got to be honest with you. I know a guy. I'm not going to say his name. He's been here as long as I have, and when the election was going on, and some people were anti-growth, he came up to me and he goes, "Yeah, I saw all the interviews," and he said, "I'm in it for the money. I just want to make as much money as possible before I leave here." So, he summed it up. That's pretty much, a lot of people feel that way. They just want to make as much money as possible.
There's a rather large percentage of the development on Nantucket right now by spec builders, and that is all about creating a living for yourself, building a house for someone, and making a profit. And people are doing that because they can make a lot of money. There are a lot of off-island spec builders here, and all that money leaves the island. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's what's causing the inevitable build out here. But what isn't finite right now is that the lots and land, open land that is available, not held in conservation, not owned by the land bank, can still be subdivided. And my brothers raised their families here. Most of the children have left the island. But I say to parents, if you want your child to have a home on Nantucket, then build the secondary if you have the land for it. Build the tertiary. There are homes for your children. You don't have to subdivide land to do that. Or educate your children. And if they choose to come back to Nantucket, they can buy a house. But I don't think we owe everyone born on Nantucket a home. I don't think we owe everyone in the state an opportunity to live here. I'm here. I worked hard to get here, to stay here. Nothing was given to me, and I don't think we need to give anything to anyone else. But we're getting to the point where you can't even find a parking space at your local supermarket. We're going to need another giant supermarket soon.
Soon, yeah.
But where's it going to stop? And we have the ability to ask those questions. We have those ability to ask those questions at a town meeting, whether it be an article. Do we want to slow the growth on Nantucket? And I'm certainly in favor.
You're not leaving. You're staying.
No, I'm not leaving.
Yeah, you're here. You're going to fight it out if you have to.
Well,
sort of.
I married a nester.
Yep.
We probably will never leave this property.
Right.
All of my Labradors, my cat, are buried in the backyard.
Yep.
This is my home.
Yep.
I'm sure I'll be here till the end.
Okay.
And I just think we need to protect and save what we have right now before it's spoiled for everyone.
Right. Well, Pat, thank you.
Gino, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.